Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my channel. I'm Devi Masitha Purwaningsih from international class. I want to present about Asperger syndrome. What is Asperger syndrome? Asperger syndrome is a complex developmental disability marked by impairments in socialization, communication, cognition, and sensation. Like classic autism, Asperger syndrome is a neurological disorder that affects a person's ability to communicate and relate to others. Although the characteristics of Asperger syndrome will differ from person to person, common effects of the disorder include: the first one is trouble understanding social cues and conversational language styles. The second one is an inflexible adherence to a non-functional routine. And the third is repetition of movements or words and phrases. And the fourth, difficulties with fine motor skills and sensory integration. And the last one is a persistent preoccupation with object or narrowly focused topic of interest. The prevalence of Asperger syndrome and other autistic spectrum disorders typically range from 0.5 to 0.8% across countries. This is higher than the typical prevalence of autism. Globally, an estimated 44 million had Asperger syndrome and other autistic spectrum disorders, not including autism, in 2016. 4.5 times as many males had Asperger syndrome than 36 million versus females 8 million. What does Asperger syndrome look like? In social challenges, lack of understanding of social cues and subtleties, and then literal interpretation of others' words, difficulty engaging in reciprocal conversation, and then tendency to speak bluntly without regard for impact of words and others, and then universal application of social rules to all situations, and the last one is focus on single topic of interest that may not be of interest to others. In communication challenges, difficulty understanding social nuances such as sarcasm or metaphor, and then echolalia may repeat last words heard without regard for meaning, and then poor judge of personal space may stand too close to other students, and an abnormal inflection and eye contact, inappropriate facial expression or gestures, and the last one is difficulty interpreting others' nonverbal communication cues. Cognition challenges, poor problem solving and organizational skills, and then concrete literal thinking, and then difficulty differentiating relevant and irrelevant information, obsessive and narrowly defined interests, difficulty generalizing and applying learned knowledge and skills across different situations, settings, and people. And about sensory and motor challenges, there are over or under sensitivity to different sensory stimuli including pain, and then difficulty with fine motor skills such as handwriting. What are the treatments of Asperger syndrome? The first one is cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy can be considered a teaching and learning therapy. It allows individuals to take a look at themselves through the use of logs and thought pattern charts to obtain a clear picture of their maladaptive thinking and of ways to change it. The same type of therapy can be applied to individuals diagnosed with Asperger syndrome. cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT has the ability to help with mental health issues, show positive social interactions, and teach the skill of being able to read social cues. For example, using worksheets and picture exercise, you can show and help an individual with Asperger syndrome tune into specific emotions by comparing emotions to faces. The next one is sensory integration or occupational therapy. Many children with Asperger syndrome have problems with motor skills or issues with their sense. In sensory integration therapy, occupational therapists work with children to stabilize their sense and their reaction to external stimuli. This therapy can also reduce anxiety in children with Asperger syndrome by improving their responses to particular sounds or touches. When children have better control of their sense, they are better able to control their movements, sounds, and emotions. This leads to reduced awkwardness and improved social skills. And the third is psychosocial support. When treating the client with Asperger syndrome, it's important to consider the person's environment, supports, and family. Working with Asperger syndrome children presents a particular set of challenges, as today's Asperger's child may be receiving a host of other services, including social casework, like physical, speech, and occupational therapy. The fourth is social skills training and speech-language therapy. Social skills groups have proved to be very beneficial to children with Asperger syndrome in teaching them how to interact with their peers. Speech and language therapy may also help these children to communicate better. This therapy could correct awkward methods of speaking such as monotone and help children to better understand. The last one is medication. Some children with Asperger syndrome experience symptoms that can be controlled by medication such as depression, anxiety, attention deficit, or hyperactivity. Though the symptoms of Asperger syndrome can only be improved through treatments and interventions, it's important to also assess and treat associated conditions such as depression, anxiety, and attention problems, as these symptoms can often be more debilitating than Asperger syndrome. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you!